What's up, everybody? It's Sol, and today you can see we are here in Calradia. I can't believe it either. I thought the Calradian Kings mod was dead, but apparently it's in alpha now. You can play it on the Steam page, which I will link obviously in the description. But yeah, this is really exciting. I'm a huge fan of the Warband Bannerlord Mountain Blade series in general, so being able to play it here in Crusader Kings 3 is very cool. You know, you got my boy here, you got Calidog, you got Durthert. I don't know how to say most of these names now that I'm thinking about it. You got Ragnavad. I don't think that the characters in Bannerlord were as good as the ones in Warband, but I do think that there's some, you know, people simp over this lady, so that's obviously a thing. She's got a ton of claims. A lot of nonsense could go down here. I just picked Calidog because I think he's cool. In the game, he's pretty sick. And I remember his son being kind of a dick. But I mean, I think he's kind of a dick too. But either way, that's not what we're talking about. So yeah, obviously we're here in Calradia. And we're just going to check out the mod as I often do. We're going to talk a little bit about the things that I like and things I'd like to see going forward. First of all, not a lot of decisions. I flipped through a lot of these already. There wasn't much. But however, we do have, if we jump over here to the religions tree, there's a few unique ones. Obviously, this is all very much in work, but there are like northern gods, which is cool. It's sort of like the Sturgian mixture of, like, I guess you would call it a Satru faith. They have a bunch of different tenets that you can see. There is actually a couple smaller faiths too, which is really neat. We have the Kujit faith. We have some of the more nomadic tribe faiths over here. There's Calradic, obviously, which is huge. Tariqa, which is like, you know, Islam. And then we have Botanian Druidism, which is very cool. I almost always play as Botania, which is why I picked them for this. I just think they're neat. They've given him pretty decent stats. Honestly, I think that Calidog should probably have a higher martial, personally. I mean, he won a pretty famous battle. That's why he's king in the first place. But, I mean, you know, that's here nor there. I think he's pretty competent. So they do have some Fianna, which is, I think, their tier, what is it, 5, 6? Heavy infantry or whatever. Aren't they like archers? Yeah, they're archers, okay. And I'm assuming everybody probably has their own. Yeah, they have arbalists. What do they got? Do they have their... Okay, so they got like their big shield boys. They should have their cataphracts, yep. They should have their Ferris, yep, horsemen, and then they should have like just a ton. Oh, he doesn't even have them. They should have like an ungodly amount of horse archers. Honestly, fighting the Kujits as like Botania, hard counter, do they wreck you just because you can never catch up to them, or Sturgia. But I do like that the flavor of them seems to be there already. Garius is also a close second. This dude's dope. He's really chill. Have no opinion on Lucon personally. I also play a lot in Vlandia, so I'd be curious to see. I know I usually would end up marrying, I think it's his daughter, Elise, if I played as one of these characters, just so I could try to, you know, inherit the throne. But if you actually look, and I'll do this here so that you can see a little better. But if you look, they've actually taken some time and really tried to make the map look fairly familiar. You know, if you've played Bannerlord at all, you probably recognize the general layout pretty well. Like, I'm looking at this right now and I'm like, oh yeah, I've definitely like marched around this. It's a little bit bigger in some spots, but I've definitely been like, oh yeah, I've been over here. I've conquered some castles. I think the Botania one is my favorite so far. I didn't mean to go into the map there, I'm sorry. But this like mountain area with all the little holds that they have, and then I think there's like a bunch of trees around this or something. It's a little bit smaller on the Bannerlord map, but seeing this like this is very cool because it gives me hope that they know what they're doing as far as like the map goes. Obviously, there's not going to be a whole lot like Sturgia, you know, it's just going to look like nothing. And if we go over to like the Kujit land, it's going to be mostly steppe, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, it's like steppe, a little bit of deserty. A little broken up, some mountains over here by, I think their capital's like over there somewhere, but it's really neat. I think at the moment, personally, if you were going to try and play this, here we'll switch to everybody's favorite girl, just so we can have somebody to look at in the corner. If you were to play this at the moment, you'd obviously have very limited options. You could start taking over some of the empire. I think that would be the biggest thing you'd start seeing people doing, because you obviously, let's see here, you probably have a war for your claims. Yeah, exactly. You can claim all of that stuff. You probably have oh, you don't even have a war against him. Okay, so you have a war against their claims, and they have a war against your claims. That's right. Okay, that is right. And then she has her daughter Ira. I mean, I think they did a good job on her, but she's also a widow. She won't marry, which is true. But you can. I think it's good that they like have the option to contemplate your mourning period, so you can get rid of that if you want to. I'm kind of curious to see what other. Okay, so they have a bunch of troops. They have legionaries as well. They have Imperial Cataphract, they have Arbalists, because Arbalists are in the world, they have Shock Infantry, they have a lot of good stuff here, actually, for as far as that goes. Again, decision's not too crazy. Let's take a look at the religions just to see what sort of stuff they've put in there. The Calradic faith follows Calradios, and how through this conquest a clarity of reason and the ability to gain favor with heaven was achieved. It is then through obtaining heaven's mandate that any ambitious leader may stake a legitimate claim to power and therefore wage legitimate conquest. Many have failed in their ambition of conquest and governance, but few have succeeded far beyond where others have failed. Interesting. She also has 4 traits. I wonder if all of them do. Okay, so she has compassionate, just, gregarious, and ambitious. Caladog has deceitful, callous, and gregarious, which isn't wrong, I guess. Ragnavad is probably the best warrior as far as I've seen. I do love the coat of arms. I almost said men at arms. The coat of arms are looking choice. Really, really good. Mimir was always my homie. I remember every time I play a Sturgio, I would always befriend Mimir. He's my dude. Okay, yeah. So we're back here. A bunch of stuff. Let's click on the Calradic. So they have the Pentarchy. They're not just, their holy sites are not just seats of power. They're the very seats of the gods themselves. So they have, theirs are all spread out all over the place, but it looks like Calradic has all of their holy sites, which is cool. Botanian Druidism has what you would expect it to have: ancestor worship, sanctity of nature. He's sinning all over the place. Let's see. In the highlands of the plateau, the native Botanian faith has persisted through the centuries. Historically, a deunited religion. They worship of some gods are more prominent in some regions than others. That makes sense. Religious ceremonies and traditions are recorded and practiced by the Druids, or Derwidden class of society. The Derwidden forbid themselves from writing religious scripture and instead use religious iconography to relay anything of religious significance. That's cool. The acknowledgement of the spirits residing within lakes and forests is important to this religion. Through this respect, a Botanian is expected to receive gratitude and reward from Terran. Now, I am curious, do they have these holy sites on the map? Is there anything physically on the map yet for any of this stuff? Because that could be cool. I doubt it. I would be really surprised to see that. Let's see, the Temple Quarter. So we have... No, there's nothing here. No special buildings, it doesn't look like yet, which is fine. Again, this is an alpha, so this is like super early on in development. You got to take these things with a grain of salt. However, this does look mighty familiar, even though there's no like unique building or anything. But even then, Bannerlord isn't exactly known for having its cool structures or anything on the map. They're not crazy unique. Even when you look at them map-wise. Oh yeah, this area right here, hold on a second now. This is super familiar. This part of the map gets so much action. I think there's also like a land bridge somewhere over here usually, like from here to here, I think. Yeah, it's right there. Insane amount of battle. These two fight all the time, Sturgia and them. I feel like Botania doesn't fight Sturgia that often. Vlandia does. Vlandia likes to fight with these dudes, the Osirai. Just so much. Let's switch over to the Osirai actually, just to see if they got anything unique going on here. Where is our capital? Yeah, it's right here by the water. Anything unique there? Oh, they actually do have a university, which is cool. That makes sense. I think they have something like that in the game. Let's check out their men-at-arms really quick. So they have their Ferris. They have a bunch of Ferris. They have some Arbalists. Any other unique infantry at all? I think they also have like a... I want to say it's like Janissaries almost, but not, because they don't obviously have gunpowder in this. He's got 50 holdings. Good God, man. You gotta spare that up. So no unique lifestyles. He worships probably a form of like, let's see, the Osirai faith follows the teachings of Asira, his connection to the deities, as well as his journey from Ashabi to Sanala. The Osirai differ from other Nahasan religions. Nahasan? Yeah. In their beliefs in the teachings and struggle of Asura, from whom they claim descendants. Ah, okay, so yeah, it's basically that. Interesting. Very cool. I want to know, do they not have horse archers? I just have to look. We have to find out. They'd have to. Yeah, mounted skirmishers. Okay, yes, okay. They do. He just for some reason doesn't have any. They have Khan's Guard and they have mounted skirmishers. So are Khan's Guard foot soldiers? I feel like they should be skirmish cavalry. I'm sorry. They should be that. I have to look at everybody now because I'm curious. What do you get, bad boy? What you got? Okay, you got these guys. Your shock troopers, yep. Probably, honestly, add Huskarls to them if it was me, because that makes the most sense. I am curious about these tiny religions, like this guy up here. Who is this? Do we have a little bit of, oh, he's got all these territories. Okay, so there's nobody up here yet, but there is the faith up here, which is interesting. I don't know if that's a placeholder or not, because, let's see, what's this? You're also Sturgian, so all of this is yours, but they have that faith here, which is so interesting. Interesting. I'm really curious to see. I'm wondering if maybe these are supposed to be like, how you get like invaders and stuff, or like bandits. I wonder if it's supposed to be like that. I don't know. because yeah, everybody looks like they worship the northern gods around here, and not these tiny ones. So it looks like, yeah, they're like dominated pretty much all over, except for this. Oh, that's a mountain range. Yep, okay, so nobody actually has them. They're just there, maybe as a placeholder, maybe to just like test out the religion. But very cool so far. Let's see what the cultures we got are. Yeah, just Batanian. It's pretty much right along. Okay, so we do have Nord actually up here, and Vakken. Okay, so there is plans to, yep, and then like the bandits. Okay, so there's plans to add other cultures besides these in here. That makes a lot of sense, honestly, but I was very curious to see how they would do that. But yeah, just a little bit of a little preview here. There's not a whole lot to this one yet. You're probably going to see other videos about it. I'm just going to let you know, as somebody who covers a lot of mods, you could play this right now. I would probably play around here in the Empire if you really want to, but personally, I would say wait. I think that this is just people being like, hey, by the way, we're not gone. We're still here. We're still working on this mod. And I'm very curious to see what they do, because this is a cool world, and I've been wondering if somebody was going to do a Warband Bannerlord style mod, and it looks like if you actually go back to the main menu, we're going to go to the main menu right now, and I'll show you. It looks to me like we may end up getting, now as you can see, the map is a little buggy. We may end up getting some different start dates. They don't have anything for them yet, so obviously take that as you will, but you have a little bit of flavor text for some of the characters in here. I think it actually might just be Rigay. I don't know how you say her name. It might just be for her and for Caladog so far. Oh, and for Ragnaved. So you can read those. There's a little bit of flavor for each of them, which is cool. But these guys are still in work. Play as any ruler. Obviously, we're not going to do that. We'll just leave it at this screen. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and thanks for this little preview of Calradian Kings. And I'll happily see you in the next one. Obviously, not a whole lot for this one, but you know, not every time a mod comes out is it going to have a bunch of stuff for it. So I'd like to highlight them to let you guys know. And if you are a modder, which is usually my hope, because I know a lot of modders watch this channel, that you might want to participate too. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Soul. As always, this has been Calradian Kings, and I'll happily see you in the next one.